Zenless Zone Zero has seen a wide variety of characters over the last few months, from Ellen to Jane Doe to Zuyen, King Yi, Bernice, Caesar, the list goes on. And over time we've seen an emergence of a specific meta or metas that have definitely trumped the traditional way of how you would normally view a gacha game. Usually in a gacha game you're looking for the characters that's gonna have the highest stats or the highest skill damage, or a character that's going to be able to inflate the damage of another character. That's generally what you're looking for in the meta. But in Zenless Zone Zero, because a lot of your damage is also dependent on how you play the character, you really have to look at the kit not just as the numbers themselves, but actually what it does and how it operates on the field. For example, you could have a character that on paper looks weaker than, say, another character, but they might hit 2 to 3 times as fast when on the field. You might have some cancels you can do, things that not necessarily going to pop up in the data sheet that you'll find out as you play and learn about the different types of characters. And because of these differences, there are definitely ones that prefer building towards what I would call the meta of Zenless Zone Zero. And there's actually 3. Now the first meta you're going to be aware about. This one you probably don't really have to know how to play a character to pull it off, but it's the anomaly class. Anomalies in this game is definitely meta. Any anomaly character is going to be absolutely broken. They're fantastic at clearing trash mobs, they're fantastic at beating bosses with their proccing of anomaly and disorder. It's crazy, but in particular you're looking for the more broken of the anomaly ones, and a good example of that is Jane Doe was the first, with her insane critting on her anomaly procs, which is almost like an error in the code, but she definitely was breaking the game. And then comes along Bernice. Now Bernice was a little bit more traditional anomaly. Yeah, she was strong, but I wouldn't say she was breaking the game like Jane Doe did. But then Yanagi drops in. Now Yanagi and Jane are like in the same class of meta. These are the anomaly meta characters I'm talking about. Anomaly meta to me means looking for the anomaly characters that have something in their kit that just makes them seem like a glitch in the program. Now anomaly shouldn't proc, Jane procs on anomaly. Yanagi buffs disorder damage. So you pair Yanagi with a Jane Doe, your disorder damage goes to the roof. And matter of fact, if you pair Yanagi with any other anomaly character that can proc a high damage anomaly amount, her disorder is gonna pop off. And that's my first meta, anomaly. Definitely play towards anomaly if you're new to Zenless Zone Zero at the moment. It doesn't seem to be anything else, and I don't see that dropping out of the meta anytime soon. Now the second meta is gonna surprise people, and it's actually what I would call, some would say it was the shield meta. I disagree. I would say it's called the evasion meta. Yes, this game has shields, but I feel like they got nerfed over time. But what has never been nerfed is evasion. And guess what? Who's got evasion? Nekomata and, drumroll, Jane Doe. So Jane Doe's ticking off 2 of our metas, evasion. Now why is evasion so important? Well, these characters are really easy to evade with. And that's what makes them incredibly broken, because if you can't get hit, then that cuts out a lot of the issues with the difficulty levels in Zenless Zone Zero. Particularly if you're doing the tower climb mode where you can get one shot or a double shot, having a decent evasive character trumps any other character. It definitely puts them at a higher advantage over their competitors. So my second point on metas is go for the characters that have evasion. So meta number 2, evasion. Meta number 1, anomaly. Now, number 3, the best to last. And I would say this one you should consider out of every single meta. And if you can tie all 3 in together, then you got yourself the most broken character in Zenless Zone Zero. We haven't seen it yet, but I'm definitely looking out for this. You want to pay attention to ranged characters, particularly ranged characters that can stay out of range and don't have too much of a damage nerf with their attacks. Now, 2 characters fit this at the moment. I wouldn't count Bernice as a ranged character, but the 2 characters I'm thinking of are Zuyen and Billy, believe it or not. And because of Billy being a ranged character, even though he's a 4-star, he can actually outperform 5-star characters or your S-class characters. Now, Billy's interesting because a lot of his skills are buffing his damage, which kind of puts him with the right drive disc set, kind of puts him equivalent in damage to a lot of the S tiers, even though he's just an A tier. Now, in terms of Zuyan, she's also got the range, she's got the damage, she's got the S tier sort of like buffs, so to speak. But the thing about this that makes this a meta, why it's so broken, is that, again, in tower mode it was discovered that if you can stay ranged, not only are you have more time to dodge an enemy attack, a lot of enemies just can't get you because they have to run all the way to you before they can attack you. Sure, some have some instant transmission or like death jump, but they'll do that close range anyway, and it's a lot easier to read them and dodge it from far range because you have more time to react. Hence is why I'm saying that ranged is a meta. The other thing about ranged is you can sit back, pluck the enemy of damage and wait for like a bangaboo to heal you up if needed, if your health happens to get low or you've just messed up an evasive move. And that's the thing with the range. I'm sort of looking for a character in the future that's going to drop, that's going to be a ranged character that doesn't go in. Zuyan had the weakness where she jumps into the enemy's melee range. You kind of have to play her a little bit suboptimally to keep her outside. She will do other damage on the outside, but it's just not as easy as Billy. Billy can just sit there and be like a sentry turret, just firing at the enemy. And my Billy at least is doing like 4,000 damage a shot, and that's really quick with these 2 guns. So yeah, I'm kind of looking out for a character that's going to come in the future that's going to tick all 3 boxes. Because I feel like if it happened with Jane Doe, we have a chance that we could get one that they just don't pay attention. Hoyo just throws it into the game and it's going to be hopefully an anomaly, evasive, ranged character. And the only 2 I can think of at the moment that I've seen is that Professor Guy. If he happens to be an anomaly ether type, the Void Hunter dude, I wonder if he could be a ranged character because he seems like a magician type of dude. So I've kind of got my eye out on him. Some people say one of the idols might fit the mold, but I'm not sure. I feel like they're going to make them melee. But yeah, that's what I've been noticing with Zenless Zone Zero. It's definitely a meta emerging. There's 3 different types. You've probably naturally already played to one just because you would have experienced the power of Anomaly, for example, but you probably didn't really pay too much attention to evasion and range. So yeah, give it a go. Give Billy a go, level him up, see what you like. I also noticed that if you pair Billy with Yanagi, it seems to proc your disorder. So he seems a pretty good all-rounder for all things clearing the content. And I can say that recently, as you can see in the footage above, I've cleared the Shiyu defense with Billy, Caesar, and Yanagi, and you can see that it did some pretty good damage, and it was pretty straightforward. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks all, bye bye.